You've been listening to an all-vinyl edition of Audio Oasis here on KEXP. You just heard music by Bikini Kill, but now it is time for a live performance from Chris Brokaw here on Audio Oasis, KEXP, Seattle.
Good evening, everybody. Daddy Borracho, angry and macho, flouncing on your very scene. Ugly and macho, Danny Borracho, flouncing under your very scene, like the worst case that you've ever seen. Did he tell you about his opera? About the rise and fall of the Habsburg Empire and the ruin of his body against the shattered skyline over New England? Danny Borracho, ugly and macho, takes you in the palm of his hand. Multilegato, Danny Borracho, takes you in the palm of his hand, making references you won't understand. And if he doesn't die in España, he'll be telling you about second chances, and you can count them on his fingers as he runs circles around the Boston Common. Walking into, but I don't know what's waiting there, waiting there, waiting there. Walking into the woods, walking into the woods, walking into the woods. I know the change will do me good, do me good, do me good. Walking into, but I don't know what's waiting there, waiting there, waiting there. Walking into the woods, walking into the woods, walking into the woods. I've always known, and I can't wait, I can't wait. I see the sky walking into the woods.
Chris Brokaw live on Audio Oasis. Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for coming here to play.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. So, Gambler's Ecstasy is the name of the new record.
Yeah.
That was 5 years in the making. And in that 5 years, you moved to Seattle last year.
Yeah, just about 2 years ago, I moved here from Boston.
So, with it being 5 years making the record, what were you doing to make the record?
Why did
it take so long?
There's actually one tune on the record called "The Appetites," which is this 9-minute sort of opus. And honestly, I got really hung up writing the lyrics to that song. And I think that's honestly why the record took so long to finish. And I didn't know exactly how to finish the song until I made the cross-country trip from Boston to Seattle. And that trip ended up kind of making its way into the lyrics. And once I was able to finish that song, then I could finish the rest of the record.
Wow, that's really intense.
Yeah, it's... the song is called "The Appetites," and I wanted to try to cover everything about appetite and what you need versus what you want. And I was having a really hard time covering all that in one song.
I can imagine.
So
that's a big subject.
Somehow the cross country trip ended up being a vehicle, if you will, for finishing it anyway.
We all need some kind of vehicle.
Yeah. I recorded a lot of records along the way, but I started this one in 2008 and then finally finished it in 2012.
Wow. But you have so many other records.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you've been making solo music since 2002?
Yep.
Yeah. And just for listeners who are just tuning in or don't know who you are best known for Codeine and Come as being a member of those bands.
Yep.
Yeah. And your history is just so deep. I mean, I have to bring this up, but I was reading that you drummed for Gigi Allen.
Shh. Yes, I did.
You know where that took me? So I went and I was like, wow, that's really weird. And then I went to YouTube and then typed in Gigi Allen and then I got him on Springer.
Oh,
Jerry
wow.
Springer. Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
That's how you research Chris Brokaw.
Yeah. Yeah, I played with him briefly in 1987 and 1989. And he was a super nice guy to me. And let's just say I was in a much more confrontational period of my life. And everything that he was doing made sense to me on certain levels.
I just thought that was really cool. I mean,
great.
I guess it's just being a musician and just having a rich history of just like playing music, and you start playing music with somebody, like that. And then next thing you know, you're like in these other bands and you're just exploring being a musician. And you went to music school and steel drumming. I mean, you have really cool things that you've done over these years, and here you are with a new record out in 2012, and that's a big accomplishment. Just
Thanks.
being a musician,
over
historical, path of music.
Well, I'm really stubborn and persistent, I guess. So that's what's.
Well, a lot has come out of it. Yeah. So you just performed Into the Woods, which is on the new record, and you also performed Danny Borracho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything I'm playing tonight is from the new album, Gambler's Ecstasy.
Yeah. And you are going on a great tour pretty soon.
Yeah, I have a couple of tours coming up. Starting January 7th, I'll be touring the West Coast for 2 weeks with Jennifer O'Connor, starting out on the 7th at the Crocodile in Seattle. And in February, I'll be going over to Europe and doing, looks like I'll be doing some shows with a bass player and drummer, and then doing some solo stuff, opening for these buddies of mine called Mono from Tokyo.
Yeah.
My old band Come is having our first album, 1111, reissued in May by Matador, and it looks like we'll probably do some shows and festivals when
Wow, so
that
many
comes out.
things. Cool. Well, I want to talk to you again, but I know that you have a couple more songs.
Yeah.
You're listening to Chris Brokaw live on Audio Oasis, KEXP.
All around a drowning pool, everything looks fresh and cool. I can't help it when I want to dive in. Everyone I ever knew shook a hand and then withdrew, save for those who thought they might prove the exception. Like cannibals, fed up and blue, beautiful and true, and holding out alive to you, holding out alive to you. All my dreams are blue. All my dreams come true. Don't sit around and try to wait. Don't sit around and try to wait. I need a hand and I can't wait. All around a burning lake, they spot a fraud a mile away. You won't get an exemption.
You're listening to Chris Brokaw live on Audio Oasis, KEXP.
All the girls are crying tonight. Criminals are plotting our lives tonight. Off the shore swims a whore, making his way to the bottom. Praying to a God above the land of Nod. Somewhere warm, somewhere green, somewhere in the distance. driving through. I wake with you, and you're all I can imagine. Heading home, El Corazon. And if I fail, reverse the gale to measure my resistance. With a compass and a heart, I could tear someone apart.
You're listening to Chris Brokaw live on Audio Oasis. You just heard Criminals and Exemption. Can I ask what drew you to Seattle?
Kathy. I met a very special someone out here.
Yeah.
And she asked me to come out here and live with her.
Yeah.
So I did.
It's obviously working out.
It's working out great.
You look happy.
Yeah.
Cool. So you've been on tour with, as a solo artist and with bands. What are you going to visit some of your favorite places? Are you going to play in some of your favorite places? Are you looking forward to your tour, and are you going to play in some places that you are excited about?
Yeah, I have. Well, not everything's confirmed right now, but there's a lot of places in Europe that I like to play a lot. In the last several years, I've probably played more overseas than here in the U.S., although I'm trying to change that. I just did a really big U.S. tour this past fall, and my favorite new city is El Paso, Texas.
Cool.
We had a really crazy show there, and that's my new favorite town. But I don't know, I'm supposed to play the Tantin Festival in Castellón in Spain, and that's a really great festival, really beautiful town. And I think Com's going to be playing at the Orange Blossom Special in Beverungen, which is a place dear to my heart at this point. It's the home of Glitter House Records, who I've been working with for, since about 1990. So
you're just as busy back then. You're just busy. You're still busy.
Yeah.
You've stayed consistently busy.
Yeah.
Is that good for you?
It's really good for me.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm excited about your January 8th show. I won't be there, but it's cool that you're playing with Kimya Dawson. I like her a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen her play, so I'm looking forward to that. That's in Olympia.
Yeah, that's Olympia show at a library.
Yes.
Library. Have you ever played at a library before?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I played 2 library shows on Whidbey Island earlier this year, and they were both like afternoon shows. Like one was at 3 in the afternoon, and the other one was at 5:30 in the afternoon. And I had done a record a couple of years ago with my friend Jeff Farina of all pre-World War II country blues stuff, and so they asked me to do shows of that material, and that was how the show was promoted. And so it was primarily senior citizens, and it was awesome. And it was funny because
I bet they loved it.
It was really cool, and it was. And I just come back from doing a bunch of stuff in Europe with Stephen O'Malley from Sono. We have this new duo called the Catamites, and that was just that's total free noise kind of stuff. So
awesome.
I've had a good time this year, sort of mixing things up.
Yeah, that's great. It keeps it interesting.
Yeah.
So you have a film that you scored that's
Yeah.
coming out next year. And I watched the trailer, and it looks like it's a love story centered around food.
Yeah, it's a movie called Now Forager, and it's already started screening at some different places, and it's doing a run in Portland starting at the end of the month, and it's sort of a food porn movie, a little bit.
Awesome.
But it's about a couple who are mushroom foragers.
How did you get hooked up with that?
By joining Facebook, which was something I had
Sign of the times, I guess.
Yeah, it's weird.
It used to be Craigslist, right? Or Craigslist was the musical joint, and now it's Facebook.
Yeah, I think I was. Besides my older sister, I was like the last person to get on Facebook, and I finally got on last year. And like 2 days after I got on, someone who I hadn't seen in a really long time, Julia Halpern, who's one of the directors of the film, got in touch with me and asked if I could score their movie. They had seen two other films that I'd scored. So.
Oh, cool. Well, it's very nice to have you here. Thank you so much for coming.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Gambler's Ecstasy is a great record. Totally, I recommend checking it out too. I recommend the listeners to check it out.
Thanks.
Yeah, and let's see. So January 7th at the Crocodile.
Yep.
And then heading to Olympia, Utah. You can see all the dates at chrisbrokaw.com.
Yep. All information about what's going on with me is at chrisbrokaw.com.
Awesome. And you can listen to the record on the Bandcamp, chrisbrokaw.bandcamp. And then it's also on SoundCloud. Some tracks are on SoundCloud.
Yep.
And other things.
It's not hard to find.
Awesome. Chris Brokaw is on the internet. All right. Yeah, and especially after he joined Facebook.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks a lot for having me.
You are listening to Audio Oasis, and I am out of here. You're listening to Audio Oasis, the Northwest Music Show on KEXP, Seattle.